See, the element that creates havoc in people's spiritual life is the mind. Because mind is the leader of the five senses. So being the leader of the five senses, the mind directs the senses to go in wrong directions and get into problems. You will see that the mind is powered by the material desires to create havoc. And the material desires are desires connected to lust, anger and greed. So, lust, anger and greed are comparable to viruses which enter into our system and creates a disorder in the mind, making the mind behave like a ghostly creature, creating havoc for the living entity. So, Pishachi Payalayata Matichanna Hai. Prabhupada used to quote this. Like a ghost-haunted man talks any rubbish thing, any crazy thing, or a drunken man, his behavior is very erratic. As soon as he puts liquor in the mouth, then his speech, his behavior, he may slap somebody, catch somebody, loot somebody, because he is not in control of his behavior. Correct, no? And a drunken man. Similarly, the mind, when we let material desires be increased in the mind, then we may lament. We may not be able to take charge of our life. Because the mind doesn't behave, your system doesn't behave the way you want it to behave. That is what Arjuna also says, Anichanna vivarshneya baladiva niyojita. He says, even despite not desiring also, it is going against my desire. I am being dragged as if like auto-controlled by somebody else, he says. So, then what can be done with such a mind when it is in a mad state or something like that? So, there are many elements which are said by doing which one can thin the mind. When the mind is like a stout man, a strong man, he can beat you and harm you too much. But when the mind is thinned, he is weakened, then the mind cannot do harmful things. Therefore, in the Yoga Shastras, there is always a prescription. The first 10 items, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, yamaha, shaucha, santosha, swadhyaya, japa, ishvara pranidhani, niyamaha. These 10 items are prescribed. Ahimsa means do not injure other living beings, even by thought, word or deed. Always be avowedly truthful, never speak lies. Because if you speak lies, your mind will get more disturbed when you speak different lies to different people. And do not steal others' commodities, or do not steal others, that is credit due for others. And always treat every woman as a mother except one's own wife. And do not accumulate too many goods which increase your anxieties. Keep minimum goods required for your life and keep your life simple. And always keep yourself clean. Keep your body clean by bathing once or twice a day at least. Keep your mind clean by chanting the holy name. Keep your dress clean by washing the clothes. Keep your body clean by bathing. Keep your money clean by honestly earning the money and giving in charity for God's service. In this way, the money can be kept clean. Keep your speech clean by not criticizing others or fault-finding with others, not rumor-mongering, not bad-mouthing, not blaspheming. So avoid those things with them, or speaking harshly. So use or speaking lies, avoid those things. And use your mouth for speaking something lovingly, that which is beneficial, that which is in relation to God and scriptures. Speak that which will uplift others. So, and these are the cleanliness aspects. And also santosha means satisfaction. Everybody in this world, according to one's destiny, what one deserves. The all-loving Father, who is supreme amongst all creatures, He has awarded what is ordained for you. Be satisfied in that and do not try to snatch from what other living beings possess, because they are possessing what they deserve. You possess what you deserve. So, therefore, be satisfied in any situation in which God has put you. You definitely have a right to make an effort to progress. But in the name of progress, you can't kill other living entities or damage other living entities. So, Shaucha, Santosha, Swadhyaya, always study the Vedic literature, especially Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and know the right blueprint of life, how to lead your life. Swadhyaya. Japa. Japa is the chanting of the holy name which will cleanse the impurities in the mind. So, Swadhyaya strengthens your intelligence. Japa cleanses your mind directly. So, these two are most powerful agents in purging the impurities, both in the mind and the intelligence. The kubuddhi will go away if you study Shastra, you will get subuddhi. And similarly, the mind which is impure gets cleansed when we develop a supplication to the Supreme by chanting the holy name and seeking God's help for purifying the mind by chanting the spiritual sound vibration. So Japa, an Ishvara Pranidhani means, always live in a mood in which, and you understand clearly that God is the center of the universe, not me. He is the pivot around whom everything is revolving. It's not that everyone has to be at my beck and call and everything should revolve around me. Like that type of Hiranyakashipu mentality causes the mind to become tenacious. So when you keep God in the center and you bow your head to Him, then the mind becomes more submissive. So these 10 items are given in the Yoga Shastras to thin the mind, to purify the mind and thin the mind. Just like, for example, when you have a balloon filled with air, and then when you prick with a needle, the air is released. There's a balloon without air. So imagine mind that is filled with impurities like the balloon, big balloon. Otherwise it's like pricking, then everything comes out and it's like a balloon without air. So the mind, then the mind is in trouble. So like a mad elephant or a trained elephant, we say. But this is not all. One has to learn to utilize the mind constructively, positively. Like you can see many times they make the elephant, carry trunk of wood or carry the Lord on the back. Many things it does. Elephant it does for the human beings. If you engage the mind in something very constructive, something very positive, something that is beneficial to all living entities, and the supremely beneficial activity is devotional service. Like we say, Savai Manak Krishna Padara Vindeyo. When the mind contemplates on name, form, qualities, pastimes, activities of the Lord, and then the mind becomes filled with positive spiritual vibrations. That which will benefit the individual also. Plus, then one's conduct, one's behavior, one's speech, one's habits, everything becomes aligned with the will of the Lord. And that person can be the greatest beneficial living entity for the whole world. So when you are a young boy, at that time many people do not know these truths. So they are just handling a mad mind, hurting themselves and hurting others. Therefore this world is a place of great chaos. There are so much fights. Like right now in UK, one group of youths are saying, we don't want this people, Islam is coming in the form of refugees. They're saying. There are other group which says, they are also children of God, they should be given shelter here. We should not say no to them. So there are two groups. So they both are fighting. And then the government is trying to calm down both. Because both should be able to approach the government properly and then they give a solution to that. Is it not true? But there are youngsters who are not patient enough. They want immediate solution. Then you become physical. Then there's violence. Similarly, you find there are countries are in war with each other now. Many places. It's Russia and Ukraine, or in Hamas and Israel, if you see. So, world situation is in a very dangerous condition now because the living entities' minds are like mad elephant, as I told you. And if they are not making an effort to purify mind, the whole world is purifying the mind with social media and digital media, if you see. And then suddenly, do you think they will become very self-controlled sages? Because there is no training in the first place. And even if training is there, the schools and colleges don't encourage youths to go for the training. And when there is no training, then everybody is handling that deadly mind. It's like giving a gun to a child. A child doesn't know, he just puts a trigger, it'll hit. Because child doesn't know how to handle the pistol. So, therefore, Prabhupada thought that instead of blaming the political situation of the world, if you want to do something good to the world, then start in a small way. All great things have always had a humble beginning. So we want to be a healing cell in the world. In order to do that, first let us purify the mind by chanting of the holy name. And that is the greatest emergency now. Because the purified mind only can do great good to the world. So even if you are planning to be a warrior in army, Indian Air Force, or Indian Army or Indian Navy, or you want to become a UPSC big IAS officer or something like that, or you want to be MLA, MP or a CM or a PM, even those fellows have to take out time in the morning for cleansing their mind. Because nobody in any capacity or role or post will not be able to do any good unless they take shelter of the Lord by chanting of the holy name. So I first told you that mind has to, and the reason for the trouble in this world is the mind is filled with viruses, and that is increasing the tenacity of the mind to cause havoc to oneself and others. Then I told you about how to thin the mind, which has become very tenacious now, by 10 items of the Yoga Shastras, Yama and Niyama. And that is not all. Emptying the impurities in the mind is not the ultimate goal of life. You have to fill the mind with spiritual vibrations, which is possible by the chanting of the holy name and hearing of the holy fame, name, form, qualities, pastimes of the Lord. That gives not only great bliss to the mind, it also gives the right direction and goal to one's life, making one's life all auspicious and making others' life also auspicious. And therefore, the first activity we do in the early morning when we rise is to chant the holy name. Everybody, from the king down to the poorest pauper in the country, everybody should chant the holy name, go to the temple, bow down their head to God, if they really want to do good for themselves and the whole world. Harinam Prabhu ki. Let's offer our humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like the said trees or ocean of mercy, full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnava vrindaki Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki